Waiting for Donald Trump to apologize? Well, guess what, folks? It's not happening. The presidential candidate doubling down, refusing to say that he's sorry for what he said about Senator John McCain and the senator's sacrifice for his country. The remarks over the weekend that triggered the firestorm.
John McCain goes, "Oh boy, Trump makes my life difficult." He had 15,000 crazies show up. Crazies. He called them all crazy. He hit me. Hero. He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Do you agree with that?
He's a war hero because he was captured.
That elicited a lot of woes. The Donald's choice of words getting almost immediate fiery reaction from his fellow GOP candidates, virtually all of them condemning his remarks. Now, some are saying that it immediately disqualifies him as a candidate.
Until Mr. Trump apologizes directly to John McCain and also to the veterans of this country, I don't think he has the character or the temperament to hold the highest position in this country.
It's not just absurd, it's offensive, it's ridiculous, and I do think it is a disqualifier as commander-in-chief.
On this, I think we should be united that in the end, John McCain is indeed an American hero, and I think Donald Trump owes him an apology.
If you really want to be commander-in-chief, and you're serious about that job, the last thing you would ever do is say anything that would show disrespect for anybody who served.
Well, in response to the blowback, Trump, in numerous interviews and in an op-ed, lashing out at his fellow GOP hopefuls, calling them failed politicians, and in a contentious appearance on the Today Show, Trump taking issue with the media's reporting on his comments as he goes on the attack against McCain again.
I do have a problem with what he's doing on the border. He's terrible. And I do have a problem with the fact with the illegal immigration is a disaster. And he's doing a horrible job for the vets. Matt, I see the vets. They come to me. These are powerful, wonderful people, and they're crying. They don't know what to do. They're lost because of what we're doing. Frankly, illegal immigrants get treated better than many of our vets. It's a disgrace what's happening in this country.
The one little portion...
And John McCain has done nothing about it but talk.
In the meantime, McCain appearing to take the high road, saying that he's willing to put all this behind him and this.
Does Donald Trump owe you an apology?
No, I don't think so, but I think he may owe an apology to the families of those who have sacrificed in conflict and those who have undergone the prison experience in serving their country.
All right, PJJ, this is getting a lot of attention
It
today.
is. It should.
And it should, because it is indefensible. John McCain, whether you agree with him or not, is a war hero.
Yeah, I know Donald Trump is a friend of mine. I've represented Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I believe, in the end, is going to make amends with John McCain. And I think he needs to make amends with the veterans of the United States. We can't get into this kind of language. That's not what Donald Trump represents. And I think John McCain is taking the high road because John McCain knows that he has kind of a tempestuous personality himself. He's been in some tough campaigns. He's had to walk back some things. But this is not what Donald Trump really stands for, and we really can't stand for this really as Americans. I don't agree with that notion that someone's disqualified for the presidency. You're not disqualified. The people at home decide who's disqualified. The candidates don't disqualify Donald Trump. Donald Trump should continue. He's a strong, forthright candidate. He should say he's wrong when he's wrong, and that will make everybody think that he's an even better person and better candidate going forward.
Harris, it doesn't look like he's going to apologize, should he?
You know what's interesting? I like consistency. So when Senator Lindsey Graham was on the couch last week, Andrea, remember we had our third presidential hopeful on the couch here. He said something that is consistent with what we heard him say again. He wants all voices in this arena. Okay? So he consistently is saying that. What happens if you take Donald Trump out of this arena? Why would anybody call for him to step back, step down? Take a look at the Fox News polling. This is real recent, July 13th through the 15th. Let's pop it up. When you have Donald Trump, and this is what we talked about last week, look how much of the real estate he soaks up. Okay, let's take his name out. Take out Donald Trump. This is what potential voters say, oh, well, isn't that interesting?
Very different
I bet
field.
you might find yourself saying, well, you know, things like maybe he doesn't deserve this stage. It changes the conversation, not just about immigration, not just, but I will say this. One way that John McCain kind of got it in an interesting way is he's not admitting that he kind of started this whole thing by calling the people in Arizona crazies for going to a Donald Trump, not to sound too fifth grade about it, but did he start it?
Right, Jedediah, that's the thing. I mean, no one likes to be called crazy.
Right.
And the problem is, I think Donald Trump does make a lot of good points, but he almost takes it a bridge too far.
Yeah.
He says one thing that's so indefensible that gets all the headlines, and now when he tries to say other things like we need a secure border, anyone who calls for a secure border is now a Trump crazy.
It's true, but it's almost like he seems like does he think he's running against John McCain? Because the way it started out as this little feud, and now it seems like he's making it his job to point out all of these positions where McCain stands on all of these issues. I would say to the Donald, look, I know this is who you are, and you're a no-nonsense kind of guy, and you're going to say what you want to say, and sometimes it's going to make us mad and sometimes not, but maybe focus on the candidates that are actually running and point out some of their policy. The whole thing seems a little bit bizarre, why McCain is the focal point of this whole thing.
Especially when you watch it live and you watch the comment as he made it, you can tell that he's done a lot of television because he's getting that one-liner in there as they're going, and he makes what in his head really quickly sounds like a joke, but then it comes out and it is way too far. But this is the kind of candidate he is. And when you saw the other Republican candidates talk about him getting out, they were practically licking their chops.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like,
well, did you see
he's got to get out now.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't want to have to share the stage with him
but Donald Trump's right in one sense. He talked about a dishonest media. I read over and over again the Washington Post story that broke this. I have some problems with that story, but at the same time, my father was at Iwo Jima. He was wounded at Iwo Jima. There's a lot of veterans in this country and a lot of people who came back after being captured that their service should not be sullied. This is not about John McCain calling Trump supporters crazies. Donald is probably the smartest guy in the race, and he's been able to twist that, as you say, into the issue. That's not the issue.
And it is a little distracting that he is fighting with John McCain. I mean, I don't think that this helps him, but also when he said the only reason that he was a hero is because he was captured.
It's troubling words.
That implies that if you weren't captured, then all these other veterans aren't heroes, and it diminishes PJJ, all the good things.
And I agree, and I believe in his heart Donald Trump does not believe that, but he got carried away, and he does.
And his mouth ran away with it.
And he went with it.
But then
that's what happened.
apologize. So we have a president right now that has a hard time apologizing. When President Obama does something wrong, I always see that he's up there and he can't just say, you know what, I was wrong, or I'm sorry about that. So Donald Trump may have spoken too soon, but it's important that he have that character trait, that the American people know that if he does say something wrong or do something wrong, he's willing to own up to it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So will he? I mean, I posed this question to Harris earlier. Melissa, should he apologize? Because I don't think he will.
I do think he should. I don't think he will. I think he should apologize to John McCain, and he should apologize to other veterans who have been captured.
John McCain says he's in the arena. He's in the political arena, but he needs to apologize to all the other troops.
I think he does need to apologize, but I think that it represents something very interesting for this election, that most politicians, all the rest of them, say things that are designed to mean everything and nothing at once. And people out there are completely sick of it. And Donald Trump's appeal has been that he doesn't care. This is the danger and the downside.
Donald Trump should say, when I make a mistake, I make a butte, I disagree with him on the issues, but he's a great American. We should honor his service. That's the statement. Make that today, Donald. Today.
Does John McCain owe an apology to the people of Arizona who went to that event, whom he called crazy? Because that's what Donald Trump is saying.
He should not have used that rhetoric either. I mean, unfortunately, you can't go around calling people crazy. I don't see how this helps someone like John McCain either. Both of them should not be speaking the way that they're speaking. Unfortunately, only one of them is running for president. The other one already ran, and we know how that turned out. All right, the crowded pool of